Welcome back to Trademark Sports YouTube channel. Today we're going to be having a look and analysing this Daily Telegraph article, Nrl 2024 Rookie Watch. So the best young players from every single club. Obviously right there we can see it was done by Paul Crawley. Now I think there's going to be a lot of names here. They're going to become household names in the next 10 years or so. I mean over that time obviously. But yeah, in the next couple of years I think we're going to hear a lot about some of these players here. But yes, if you are happy to be at the channel, if you're new, welcome, hello. I promise you, we're going to be more consistent with YouTube uploads in 2024. So if you want to see that, drop a subscribe and we'll get into the video straight away. Now, I think this goes from Broncos all the way down through to, I think Warriors might be the last team here. But we'll get underway here. So this first guy we're going to be looking at is Ben Takura. Now, I've heard so many good things about this bloke. Obviously, at the Broncos as a prop, he is huge. So as it says here, no wonder there are comparisons with Nelson Asafa-Solomona at 205 centimeters and 126 kilos. And he's like 18, 19, like ridiculously big. Probably has a bit more going to do as well. Has good aggression, obviously the frame to make his presence felt. Given he played a full season of Queensland Cup at 19 years old for a prop, that should have him ready to take the step up to NRL in 2024. Now, obviously, we've had a couple players the last few seasons, like your Payne Haas's and that sort of thing, come through in the front row at a very young age, but usually they don't really blossom till like 23, 24 coming into the NRL. So to have raps on this guy at 19, and I believe it's probably one of the reasons why they were happy to let Tom Flegler walk, obviously salary cap as well, but because they got Ben Takura coming through, who is just going to be an absolute sensation. Okay, moving on to the next player, Nrl Leota. Now, if he's anything like Moses Leota, this guy's going to be an absolute wrecking ball in NRL. Obviously, it says here he's a winger. So he started as a schoolboy in every sport he had the crack at. So from league to AFL, union, as well as volleyball, basketball, and athletics. So he just seems like one of those guys who's just an athletic or weapon. So he's a freak athlete and a good under high ball as anyone to emerge in the Broncos system in years. That is huge raps. Obviously, with Herbie Farnworth leaving, there's a spot in that outside backs there because I feel like Selwyn Cobbo is going to be playing centres, not this year maybe, but in the future, and that could leave a wing spot open for Nrl Leota. That's huge raps. Moving on, we've got Kobe Black, who is a halfback from the Broncos. Beyond Adam Reynolds, this is the young bloke the Broncos have identified to challenge Jock Madden as a long-term halfback. Extremely skillful with a great kicking game. Won't be on the NRL radar in 2024, but definitely a name to remember. That's good sign, especially if he's got a good kicking game and good way of controlling the game and everything as a young halfback. Kobe Black, learning off Adam Reynolds. There's not too many better tutors in the rugby league at the moment. So Kobe Black, we'll keep an eye on him for sure. So moving on, we got the Bulldogs now. Nrl Skelton is Bulldogs wing centre. Former Rugby Sevens players had 3 NRL games to date. A big unit with a barnstorming carry that can really scatter defenders, but also good footwork. So my thing with Nrl Skelton, I think if he was going to make it, he would have already. I suppose he was a Rugby Sevens player and that sort of thing. But I think last year was a year to make it. If you're an outside back at the Bulldogs, it's very tough now when you got Bronson Xerri and also Stephen Crichton coming in there in the centres, as well as like Connor Tracy and Blake Taaffe. But if he's good enough, he'll make it. So while the Dogs have been working overtime to bring in new players, Skelton is already one of the books who looks more than capable. We'll see how he goes. Personally, I think there's better options there if you're the Dogs, but hey, we'll see what happens. Those players who I think probably does have a bit more potential than Nrl Skelton is Josh Papali'i, another one. So Bulldogs position fullback 5'8". I've also seen him play a bit of centre, so I mean, you can see what he does there, but freakishly similar to young Melbourne Storm sensation Suat Fa'alongo with a flashy feet and blistering speed. Played New South Wales under 19s and can fill a number of positions. The one issue is his size, but he certainly looks brave enough defensively. Now, the thing is with small players, I always say this, if you are good enough, you are big enough. I don't think size really matters. Well, depends who you ask. But yeah, look, Josh Papali'i, I think from everything I've seen, his highlights are pretty ridiculous. Looks to be one of those guys the Bulldogs have pinned as a namestay in their side for the next few years, but we'll see how he goes if he gets his opportunity this year. Now, another player, Bulldogs front rower, they need those. So Jack Dodd, we'll have a look at him this year. Hopefully he can come through at some stage. Not the biggest prop running around, but really looked like an NRL player of the future in the Bulldogs Jersey Flag Premiership winning side. That is a massive thing for the Bulldogs, because they've obviously got some good juniors there. Jersey Flag winning side, plenty of talent, so hopefully they keep on to him. Might need a bit more time to get ready, but expect him to emerge at some point in the next year or so. And that's what we were saying about the front rowers before. They genuinely do need to take a couple of years to develop. So don't have too many expectations on Jack Todd just yet, but in the next couple of years, we'll see how he goes. And the last one from the Bulldogs is Joseph O'Neill, is a 5'8", Bulldogs junior who captained and was man of the match in the Jersey Flag Grand Final. Pretty huge. Has a good kicking game while shows great maturity and leadership qualities. Hopefully the Bulldogs don't just go splashing cash on all these stupid halves. But yeah, I think Joseph O'Neill look, 5'8", obviously Matt Burton has a position at the moment, but you never know what happens in the game of rugby league. He could be one to watch out for sure. All right, over to the Cowboys. We've got Jackson Purdue. I've heard his name a fair bit. I think they've got pretty big raps on him, even allowing for a halves conundrum facing Todd Payton in respect to juggling Tad Townsend, Tom Dearden, Jake Clifford, and Thomas Duffy in 2024. Something about this young 5'8" that everyone in Townsville was super excited. Moves up Mitchell Moses. There you go, with an enormous boot to go with it. Australian Schoolboys fullback Mateo Brown. Sorry, I obviously butchered that. Big front rower Caden Lars, son of Tom Leroy. Two others keep an eye on this list, although Lars just developed shoulder injury. Okay. I think we'll get into these guys a bit later if they are here. No, they're not. Oh, right. Anyway, we've got Robert Darby here, Cowboys winger. He's tasted NRL, made his debut last year, obviously, but we'll be putting on massive pressure on Kyle Felt and Sammy Velame for a regular wing spot, who I don't think either of those two have definitely nailed that down. So we could see a bit more of Darby next year. Big and athletic and trains the house down. Oh, goodness. Also got a taste of rep footy with the Kummels postseason. Massive raps on him. Look, the Cowboys are like... I mean, they're not crying out for another winger, but I think, as I said, Felt and Velame definitely don't have that spot on lock, so he definitely could be getting a shot there for sure. Another Cowboys outside back is Zach Labour. We saw him a bit last year, as it says here. Didn't look out of place in his 4 NRL games so far, so you expect to see a lot more of him in 2024, especially on the back of Peter Hiku's departure to the Super League. They also brought in Vailea from the Warriors last year, so Zach Labour will have to be pushing him for that spot there. But again, there's another guy like Darby. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the 17 regularly next season. Now, Jamal Shibasaki is Cowboys lock in the black row. He is the younger brother of Gemmett. Bit of Sam Thaiday look about him. That's a huge rap from Paul Crawley there. Played Queensland under 19s last season and was man of the match in the under 21s grand final for the Blackhawks. Was also under 18s Malmaninga Cup Player of the Year. So he's under 18s playing an under 21s grand final for the Blackhawks in Colts, whatever it's called, up in Queensland. That's pretty big. Massive raps on him. I have heard a fair bit about him, so hopefully he goes well. Geez, another Cowboys player, Will Sullivan. Prop back row, originally from Laidley out near Toowoomba. Yet another outstanding back row prospect coming through the Cowboys system. Tom Gilbert style, who can play on the edge or in the middle, in contention for an NRL call-up in the not-too-distant future. Again, big raps. Thomas Duffy, who I spoke about before, former Australian schoolboy and Queensland under-19s representative Phil Gould identified as the game's best emerging schoolboy playmaker who Gus desperately wanted at the Bulldogs. Interesting. Right in the mix to put huge pressure on Chad Townsend and Jake Clifford to be Tom Dearden's half partner. Moving on to the Dolphins juniors, we have Max Plath, who we saw a bit of last year. Hooker utility, 2 NRL games, and looked destined for a bright future. Like his old man, former Broncos Mr. Fix-It and 4-time premiership winner John, Max can play hooker in the halves or lock with a mindset where he just goes out to compete. Obviously, we saw a bit of him last year. Pretty good player. Oren Keeley, who's just signed from the Newcastle Knights, who hails from Mark O'Mealy's neck of the woods, Central Coast, and like Oga's tough as old boots. Massive rap. Yet played at New South Wales under 9s last year. He made 2 appearances for them last year, and then the Dolphins came up and snatched him up, and he apparently has been impressing the right people in pre-season, which is what you got to do, I suppose. Jack Bostock, and we saw him play 4 games last season. Winger, centre, former Dragon. Yep. In 2023, will push for a permanent spot in 2024. Great athleticism and his height, 194 centimetres, is a key advantage, but will probably stay on the wing for now and has the potential to develop into a top-line centre. But if you're Bostock, if you are playing NRL on the wing, take it. Like, he could have a massive and flourishing career on the wing there. Now, James Walsh, another bloke from the South Coast. So another former Dragon junior, fitting well at the Dolphins rather. Can play in the back row or in the centres. Had a shoulder operation in 2023, but has fought back to play some good footy for Redcliffe. Looks certain to be an NRL player for the future. Okay, moving on, we've got Ethan Sanders for the Eels, halfback. Now, I've heard a couple of weird things about his contract, which I don't know if they get in here, but massive kicking game, drawing comparisons to Cooper Cronk style playmaker. That's a huge raps on a 19-year-old kid. One of the standouts of Eels premiership winning SG Ball team and has received interest from the Raiders. There we are. Given Moses and Brown are ahead of him in long-term deals, that could make it half a Parramatta to keep Sanders long-term. I think there's something fishy going on with his contract there. He's half in the Raiders, half not. I'm not sure, but Brad Arthur has said it won't stop him playing NRL in 2024 if the opportunity comes up. There you go. There's huge raps on him. Huge raps on this guy as well. Blaze Talangi, 5'8" centre. Another hot shot from SG Ball side, is capable of playing in the halves or the centres. Powerful running game and very robust build. It could fast track his development. One of 9 youngsters training with NRL squad this preseason, but Talangi is a player who always gets noticed. Now, I have seen him, like some highlights and stuff of him. It reminds me so much of Dylan Brown. Like, I think he's literally the exact same player. It's just funny how that kind of stuff works. Now, Will Penasini's brother, Richard, younger brother of NRL star Will, but with a bigger frame, could also prove to be the carrot to help the Eels kill Will long term if they have enough interest from rugby union, given two have the goal of playing NRL together. Again, there's sort of like Eels outside backs aren't locked down. I think we could see two Penasinis running around for the Eels this season. Charlie Geimer, Eels back row, hails from Tamora, which has been the nursery for a stack of rugby league footballers over the year, including Liam Martin, and that's the style of player that this New South Wales under-19 representative looks destined to be. Huge rap. No frills, but a worker who never shirks the rough stuff. We'd love to see it. It would be an Eels cult hero if he is that kind of player. Now we're on to the Newey Knights. Dylan Lucas, which he isn't a rookie because he's played, what I think it says in here, 7 NRL games. So interesting that Paul Crawley has mentioned him there. Obviously, we've seen what he can do. Really good player, big future. We're going to move on from that because he's not actually a rookie. Connor Vertano, fullback centre. You probably won't see this Central Coast Junior for 2 years at NRL level. Remember the name, Jack Whiten style athlete. Huge. Who's super competitive, tall, fast, and just the perfect prototype for the modern day back. Now, one thing you'll notice about the Knights here with their juniors, a lot of them were fullbacks. They've got Callum Ponga. I think they're going to lose a lot of these guys. David Armstrong, fullback. Going with a good eye for talent told us that Armstrong moves like Jaden Campbell, but arguably faster. Certainly won't be taking Callum Ponga's spot anytime soon, but unbelievable X factor. The Eels, look at that. They want X factor. David Armstrong. Fletcher Sharp, fullback. The real Ryan Pappenhausen look about him. Huge rap. Originally signed to play in the halves, but has emerged as a fullback with tremendous potential, blinding speed, and just has that knack of turning up in the right place or at exactly the right time. Probably a year or two of the NRL, but in the modern game, anything's possible. Again, Fletcher Sharp, we'll see him in NRL level, whether at the Knights or somewhere else, not too distant future. Okay, we have a Knights junior that isn't a fullback, Paul Bryan. So, tough young middle from Queensland, represented the state at under-19s level and was SG Ball Player of the Year in 2022. Tore his ACL last year on the first day of pre-season, but expected to be pushing for an NRL spot in 2024. Here we are, the big rugby league nursery that is Penrith. Liam Henry, massive raps on him, I have heard. Former Blanley Bear and Panthers and New South Wales Cup Player of the Year. Runs hard and is tough defensively. He's played 3 NRL games, and potentially in his departure opens up a spot for someone to grab it. We'll see a lot of him this year in NRL. Black book him, he is ridiculously good. Jesse McLean, Panthers outside back, super athlete who can play anywhere in the outside backs. Has committed a long-term deal, which shows Panthers' faith in him. Terrific speed and great footwork and agility. Debuted late in the season against Para. And yeah, as it says there, I think with Stephen Crichton going, I think Jesse McLean will get a lot of opportunity in this upcoming season. Now, Jack Cole, who I think is who they've black booked and will probably be the 5'8" once Jerome Luai leaves in 2025. So he's a 5'8" centre. Another of the Panthers New South Wales country graduates. He hails from Orange and is the Matt Burton style, given his versatility to play 5'8" or centre. Lloyd McLean is signed at the end of 2026. So yeah, they've obviously got big raps on him if they're locking him down. Harrison Hassett, that is a brilliant rugby league name. Back row, good athlete, great attitude and hard working. St. Mary's Junior, and another of the standouts to the junior reps. Despite Panthers' unbelievable forward depth, Hassett is a gun who can't be held back forever. Exactly right. Now over to the Bunnies. Tyron Munro, we saw a bit of him last season. His cousin to the Fox, potential to develop into an out-and-out superstar in 2024. And what we've seen, Munro's 300 games so far. I think we'll see a lot of him next season in that right wing spot with like Isaac Thompson. Didn't really do anything to lock it down last season. So I think Tyron Munro is definitely one to watch this year. Dion Tiapa, I think we saw him kill it in the trials last year. So he's a South Junior from Maroubra. Genuine excitement machine. Got everyone talking earlier. Yeah, very impressive display in the trial match. And he finished the season playing for Tonga off the bench. Massive raps on him. Cody Walker's mid-30s now. He's the guy who will be locking up that spot once he leaves that club. So Jai Graves, another 5'8", small in stature but lightning fast and enormous heart. Originally from the Gold Coast, represented Queensland under-19s as a 17-year-old. Wow. He's played SG Ball last season and progressed into the Jersey Flag side in 2024. Remember the name. Sounds like he's pretty handy. And then Thomas Fletcher, who, again, that's another massive rugby league name. Big strapping country boy from Coonamble, who got a taste of NRL off the bench in the Charity Shield. Had a shoulder injury that held him back last season, but would be a real chance of getting a look in come Origin time when Murray and Arrow are on rep duty. So I think they've got massive raps on him. Over to the Raiders, they have some of, if not the best youngsters in the comp. Chevy Stewart, the fullback, he'll play NRL this year. He has to. I think he's above the pecking order over Xavier Savage because he played fullback there last year in Cup, but He's so good. Just watch his highlights. He's just ridiculous. Ethan Strange, fair dinkum battle with new recruit Kyle Weeks take over from Jack Whiten's 5'8" position, but he could also just be in centres as well. So yeah, he played for New South Wales under 19s last season and made his NRL debut. Ethan Strange he'll be one of the stars in the comp in the future for sure. We've also got Michael Asuma. He's a winger. There's some seriously tough competition for a wing spot at the Raiders, the likes of Jordan Rapana, Nick Kotrick, Albert Hopewada, and James Schiller all in the frame. Don't realise young Brian To'o style meter eater. That's a massive rap as well. Who was the Raiders New South Wales Cup Player of the Year? Wow. So he's youngster, and he got Cup Player of the Year over a guy like these two just here, Strange and Stewart as well. Okay, that's massive. Tyler Moriarty. Sorry if I butchered that. A hooker, gun dummy half from the Central Coast, represented the Blues under 19s, and now has a season of Cup under his belt. Doesn't time the sidelines recovering injury last season, but yeah, as it says here, with Jake Turpin leaving the door, he could be the backup, and a youngster as well. That's really, really good. Xavier Va'a. Now, okay, I've heard massive things about him. He's the boxer who called everyone out. I think he'll probably play a bit of footy, first-grade footy this season. And I think this is his younger brother, Dila Salva. What a name. He's tipped to play Aussie Schoolboys in 2023, and he's tipped to charge for the grades. Given it usually takes props more time to develop, 2024 may be a year too soon, but big things are expected of both of the Va'a boys. Huge. Celessi Feketi is a Roosters back rower, close to the best player in Jersey Flag grand final, and backed up a huge season selection for Tonga A, which is massive. Real weapon with and without the ball, with a highlights reel that delivers flashbacks of a rampaging Solomon Halmono. Also, as an X5'8", has soft hands. Oh, he could be another lock coming through. If he's playing back row, but used to play 5'8", Ryan Madison mold kind of stuff. Love to see that. Robert Toya, massive raps on him. Gun outside back who's a standout in the Queensland junior reps, but has a horrible run with back-to-back ACL injuries. Still an outstanding prospect, but hopes he'll be back by June, July. I didn't realise he was injured, but yeah, fingers crossed he finishes a strong year like New South Wales Cup or something, but I've heard huge things about him. Blake Steep, back row, New South Wales North Coast youngster from Port Macquarie, reminds you of a young Boyd Cordner. That is massive raps. Blues captain, fair enough. Okay, suffered an ACL injury last year. A few ACLs getting around the Roosters here. So needed some time to get his confidence back, obviously. Still SG ball age, so has time on his side. Definitely a player to remember for years to come. That's a massive rap on him there. Manly Juniors, another Hopewade, Lehigh Hopewade. He is a fullback, so he's tall and lean, plays more like Will than the other Hopewades with athleticism and skill. Still young enough for SG Ball, will play flag in 24, so that's a bit of a step up there, basically playing against men, which is good. Jamie Humphries, halfback and hooker. It is interesting because I thought he was always a half. I don't know why they're making him hooker, but anyway, one of the game's most talented young halfbacks, could emerge as the bench option covering the halves and hooker. Has a great left foot kick. That's huge. And genuine spark and creativity that could be developed into a quality dummy half. We'll see how he goes, but he'll play NRL for sure. Like with him, it's like when, not if. Caleb Navali, a lock. So Seagulls flag player of the year who represented Fiji. Good leg speed and strong carry. Still has a year to go in on 21s, but could move up to a cup and could even push for NRL debut late in the year. One to watch there if you're a Manly fan. Taylor Bunting, halfback. Maybe that's why they're moving Humphries into hooker, because they've got this young kid coming through as well. So Panthers Junior, first year of flag, but really impressed after training full time with the NRL squad. Has all the skills and kicks goals to boot as well. Not in the NRL conversation at this point, but another name for the Little Black Book. There you go. We'll see how Tyler Bunting goes. Kyle Iro, have heard huge things about him. Outside back. Definitely will play NRL like this season. Connor Tracy's left, and I think that just Talakai didn't really impress last season. I think Kyle Iro gets a first crack at that centre spot for the Sharks this year. Cade Dykes, he did his ACL at the start of the year, and he was just destined for so much. So you can play multiple positions, but probably best suited to fullback centre ahead of the halves. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like they might sort of push him into that 5'8" role if Nico Hines and Braden Trundle doesn't work out, but we'll see there. Another Sharks junior, Sam Stonestreet, is a winger, tall, athletic, and lightning fast. Local junior who played Cup last season, but will be bashing down the door to his NRL debut in 2024. Could also be an option in the centres down the track, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. Daniel Atkinson's halves. I think this is the guy that's putting pressure on Braden Trindle in that Sharks lineup there. So a real competitor who goes 100 miles an hour at everything. Is really good chance of forcing his way in top 17 following Matt Moylan's departure. Only 2 NRL appearances so far, but has an outstanding utility value given he can play 5'8", fullback, centres at the World Cup for Italy. and also can handle lock or dummy half if needed. There you go. So it sounds like a perfect 14 if he doesn't make that starting side. Moving on to the Storm, we got Sua Fa'alongo. He has to be 14 for the Storm this year, especially if Papenhuyzen gets injured. He's the one. He's just so good. We saw what he did for Samoa against Australia, like just ridiculous. Joe Chan, he played a bit of footy last season, or maybe made his debut, and that was it. But yeah, he's, as it says here, he was playing first grade at Catalans at 18 before he started for the Storm. He's son of a former NRL player. He's gonna make it. Like, it just, again, it's a matter of of when, not if, for Joe Chan. Tristan Powell is a front rower for the Storm. Short, stocky prop from Queensland. Under 18s and 16s. One of the standouts in East Tigers Premiership winning team, and is really impressing the right people at the Storm. So, again, the Storm forward depth is awful. So, we'll probably see a fair bit of Tristan Powell this season. Jack Howarth, I can't believe we're still talking about him as a rookie. He should have played 50 NRL games by now. So, we'll focus on playing in the back row from here on, because there was a bit of talk of he's going to be a centre. Sensational schoolboy who was originally signed a monster deal as a teenager, but Howarth's development has been a lot slower and more complicated than anticipated it would be. Coming into 2024, he's now had his debut in last round against the Broncos, and so this will be his make or break season, pretty much. And moving to the Tigers, Lockie Galvin. I was saying to someone the other day that I think the Tigers are going to pull a Tigers here by signing Jerome Luai. They're going to end up letting Lockie Galvin go, and he'll be a freak somewhere else. So he's an Australian schoolboy's 5'8", who could move into the back row down the track. Keep him in the house. Won the Peter Sterling medal after leading Westfield Sports High to the National Schoolboys Cup win over Palm Beach Currumbin. Tall, good speed and skills. He's tipped to be one of the standouts in years to come. Absolutely. Put that one in the black book. Lockie Galvin. Right, Latu Fainu. Boom playmaker has made the move from Manly and will push for NRL selection in 2024. Extremely talented and tough. Would not shock to see the teenager become one of the elite NRL players of the next decade. Absolutely. Now, the Titans, Jalen De Groot, a fantastic name. From the Northern Rivers, selected for the New South Wales under-19 squad. Big range and athletic, moves a lot like Josh Dugan. Came through the Titans system playing fullback, but can play anywhere in the outside backs. There you go. Sounds like big raps on him. Tony Francis, another wing / centre, former Manly junior in the Hopewadi bloodline to boot. So definitely got the rugby league blood. Played 5'8" in their first ever Hurrah Cup Grand Final in 2018, has a strong carry out of yardage. Tommy Weaver, huge raps on him, has a battle on his hand to get number 7 jersey off Tanner Boyd. I think he will be the 5'8" once Kieran Foran retires, and I think that's going to be Tommy Weaver's role there. He's just destined for greatness, that kid. Moving on to the Warriors, we've got Dimitri Sifakula. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. There's 3 NRL games in the bag, but coming off an ACL, so he could miss the first 3 months of the season. It's tough. Good footwork, not the biggest unit going around, but has terrific physique and looks and moves like a footy player. We've got Jacob Laban. Heard massive things about him. One of the most talked about young forwards coming through in New Zealand for some time. Is an edge back rower representing New Zealand A at the end of the season. Still eligible SG Ball in 2023 to play New Zealand A. That's wow. Okay. Yeah, keep an eye on him. We got Zion Mau. I definitely butchered that. Young wrecking ball prop loves to make it personal. Love to see that. Was also recognised as one of the best juniors coming through. Was always rather, and continues to make giant strides. That is everyone at the Warriors excited. Very aggressive, good footwork, and hits the ball up like his life depends on it. Love to hear that. Now, over to the Mighty Dragons. I think this is the last club we got. So we got Savelio Tamale, Dragons centre, played Blues under 19s last season. He'll play NRL first grade this year. He is ridiculously good. Just look up his highlights. Gun. Coming from rugby, I believe, but very good. We got Viliami Fafita, who came as part of the Aaron Woods swap. Don't know how he didn't play last season. He looks the goods. Same as this next guy, Alec Tuitavake. So this is a lock, but he'll play front row. I don't know how he didn't play last season either. Hopefully under Flanagan, those two guys play some NRL this season. Now we've got Hamish Stewart, a lock, Jerry Jr. and son of Dragons welfare manager Scott Stewart. Young lock with an Isaiah Yeo style about him, good size and footwork. Will play SG ball in 2024, but a genuine chance of playing NRL late in the season. Absolutely, Hamish Stewart is a gun. So is this guy. His Jerry on teammate, Dylan Egan. He would have played last season if he hadn't got an injury towards the back end of the year. He'll, as it says here, been training the house down and will play NRL in 2024. Could even start the season. Huge raps on him. Okay, that is it. So let me know who you are excited for most, the rookies coming through at your club, to see who has their best season this year, who's going to get Rookie of the Year in 2023, 2024 even, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment as well. Thanks for watching.